Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the paladinolive network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey.
Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and is also a part of the Basketball Podcast Network. Thank you very much, Dylan and Kyle out of Vancouver, British Columbia, for having Timberwolves Explosion a part of your network. Really appreciate you very much. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. It's Friday. It's time to talk Timberwolves yet again. Minnesota Timberwolves played 5 games last week. That's right. Very busy schedule and won 3 of them. Not bad, eh? Well, at the end of the day, here's my John Madden take on that. Well, if you want to be above 500, you got to win like more than half of the games. So that's the way to start it. You got to win more than half of the games, and then you're above 500. Yeah, that makes sense, right? I'll draw a little on the screen. Okay, sorry. Either way, and God rest John Madden's soul. Had to have fun with that because he likes to throw out Captain Obvious type statements as if they're earth-shattering on occasion. He used to do that a little bit, but... Oh, okay, yeah, it's a start. It's a start. I mean, over a little stretch like that, yeah, keep it up. Beat teams like Phoenix. A nice, impressive win over Cleveland. The Utah game, we could talk about that for about 5 hours straight. Just that one. The Denver game, the Wolves looked good and then fell apart late. The Toronto game, the Wolves looked awful and surged late. So, yeah, it was kind of like a tale of two halves or tale of two games and in a back-to-back with Denver-Toronto. Pretty impressive. And really had to travel from Denver back to Minneapolis to play the Toronto Raptors. Raptors were already here, resting, waiting. Started kicking our butts, and it was like, here we go. 3-game losing streak. But at least we get to play Houston 2 games in a row. We'll see how that turns out. Sweep, I hope. And then at New Orleans, oh boy, that's the 3 games to preview after the 5 games we review. And I better giddy up, as they might say in Australia or anywhere else. I better giddy up, eh? 121. How do you combine those 2 words together? Giddy up, eh? Maybe in Calgary because Canada and rodeo. Anyhow, 121 to 116. The Timberwolves beat the Phoenix Suns or something like that. They're the Phoenix Sunsets because Dario Saric started. DeAndre Ayton was okay. Michael Bridges was pretty good. Damian Lee, 31 points off the bench. Devin Booker out. Jay Crowder out. Cam Johnson, whoever that is. I'm just kidding. He's okay. He's okay. He's not that great, but he beats us. Out. Chris Paul out. So they're the Phoenix Sunsets. That's what they are. The sun is setting in Phoenix, if you get the idea. Josh Okogie. Remember he signed with the Suns, was it 2 summers ago? That's right. 7 points. 3 rebounds for Josh Okogie. So good for him. Bismack Biyombo, he's still around. And they didn't look like the Phoenix Suns. They kind of look like Charlotte Hornets, maybe. That's probably the closest incarnation I can think about. Another reason why they're the Sunsets are the Phoenix Twilights. They kind of look like Twilight, where it's teal. You get the idea? I'm not even trying to be funny. It's just that they're not, it's not good right now. And the uniform is, as weird as that is, it's kind of cool. It works for me. I kind of like it. Like teal uniforms for the Phoenix Suns. Sure, it works. I'll give it a pass. I like them a heck of a lot better than our city jerseys. They're lame. They look like a soccer team. We're not soccer. We're a basketball team. I don't know. And if it represents something that, I don't know, it's not something I'm all that big fan of. Anthony Edwards was outstanding. Kyle Anderson, what an amazing week. And Jaden McDaniels continues to really step up and play. 6 assists in the game by Jaden McDaniels, but also that defense, some of that weak side defense. Torian Prince's return has been just a godsend for the Minnesota Timberwolves. 16 points up the bench. And he does a hell of a lot more than just score points. Obviously, again, he does a lot of the quote-unquote little things that don't show up in the stat sheet. And Timberwolves and Nuggets is flashing on the screen right now on NBA TV as I record this. David Adelman, former Minnesota Timberwolves assistant and, of course, son of Rick Adelman, head coach of the Wolves years ago. I like David Adelman. It's kind of cool. Rudy Gobert only 4 points as the starting center of the Timberwolves. At least he played starting minutes in this one, which, again, sometimes isn't the case. I don't know. I have a lot to say. Coming up, and I kind of wanted to make that the feature of the show, and I probably kind of will going forward, but good grief. Yeah, I don't know, man. But let's kind of continue where we're at first. I apologize. And it will be a feature presentation as we move forward. And also a quote from D'Angelo Russell, some cute, entertaining stuff, I guess, if you can call it that. But, a nice solid win by the Wolves. Anthony Edwards attacking the basket and taking the shots he takes and all that. Obviously a solid performance. He didn't shoot particularly well from the outside, but again, attacking the rim and making all of his free throws. Timberwolves actually, they made almost all of their free throws in this game. Very impressive, 17 to 20. But, of course, a lot of people would probably like a little more than that. 52% from the floor. There's that. But, again, an overall solid win by the Wolves against a depleted Phoenix Suns team. For the sake of time, we'll continue to move. Again, definitely not a feature presentation type of game. This one's a lot closer. This is probably the second best game of the week. It is the best game of the week, but not the feature presentation in terms of the show. 110 win, 110 to 102 over Cleveland. The Wolves sweep the season series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sweet. Anthony Edwards, 26 points again. You think, Anthony Edwards has the in the bag here, the Lone Wolf Award in the bag, but maybe not. Maybe not, because a certain other guy has just been so good and he deserves recognition. Kyle Anderson from Scotland, right? Just kidding. 4 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, again, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Just kind of doing a bit of everything. Only attempted 2 shots and made them both. Rudy Gobert banged up for the 900th time this season. 13 minutes and all that, starting the game. Only attempted 3 shots and 6 points. But Anthony Edwards kind of took the reins, and Naz Reid excellent as well instead of Rudy Gobert. Other than shooting 1 of 7 from downtown, he was phenomenal other than that when you do the math. Absolutely awesome performance. Actually, like 8 of 9 from the floor. 8 of 9 from the floor from 2-point range, basically, if you know what I mean. Non-threes, but sucked from outside. Oh, well. We'll take it as long as the Wolves can defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Insanely impressive performance. Jalen Noel, great off the bench as well. Didn't do anything from downtown, but again, attacking the rim and using that athletic ability and offensive talent. Luka Garza, major factor as well at times. Again, he's like the best per 48 minutes performer on the team, but yeah, you know how that works. Guy with such a small sample size, they might have really insane per 48 minutes numbers. So that's kind of a cute little thing. D'Angelo Russell, only 20 minutes in the game, kind of benched again in favor of like the Austin Rivers of the world, the Jalen Noels of the world. So, and I'm totally fine with that. Anthony Edwards, again, leading the way, hitting literally half of his threes and more than half of his overall shots from the floor. Another great performance by the Timberwolves against the Cleveland Cavaliers, just like earlier in the season. Really exciting stuff. 56% from the floor in this one, but did not make a whole lot of threes. Only 9 of 28. So no beef and cheddars for all of you out there that like that sandwich. And I'm one of them. I haven't had one in a while, though. So it'd be nice. I'll find out if I'm going to be able to get one tonight, right? No, I'm just kidding. After the Toronto game, I'm just messing around. But we'll see what happens with that. But Timberwolves have played the Cleveland Cavaliers very well. Again, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell greeted each other to start the game out. This was another game it looked like the Wolves were going to be beat. Darius Garland hitting the 3. It's crazy. He only hit 1, but it felt like more, and it was a big shot that put Cleveland up by a significant amount. But the Wolves just kept clawing back in this one, literally. Cleveland again had the advantage late in that second half, and they had a very good second quarter. It was their best quarter of the whole game. It was the Wolves' fourth quarter that won this thing, 33-22. Outscoring the Cleveland Cavaliers down the stretch, and Anthony Edwards again clutch and outstanding down the stretch. Generally speaking, nobody really was that good in the game for Cleveland except maybe a Jared Allen, 8 of 10. Another guy that probably should get the ball more often. He's like one of those guys that's his field goal percentage is up on the moon. Love and Rubio both coming off the bench. They're both on the B team now for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's a pretty good B team. I mean, Ricky Rubio, Kevin Love, Caris LeVert. Cedi Osman's decent as well, but yeah, that trio, that's a really, really nice group of players, actually. Okoro, obviously, is a big draft pick just recently. Mobley's way up there, obviously. Donovan Mitchell, He had, what did he have, like a 70-point game this year, didn't he? Darius Garland can tear you to pieces as well. And I think the whole planet of Timberwolves fans would prefer Darius Garland over D'Angelo Russell. Darius Garland was actually plan A for Gerson Rosas, and then the just almost as exciting for him anyway was D'Angelo Russell. And I bought into it, and a lot of us did as well. And, well, yeah, I mean, D'Angelo Russell can get hot. He can be exciting, but he's certainly not what he thinks he is. He thinks he's a franchise-leading, lead guard. He does. I'm not so sure. Not so sure, but a nice, solid win. Timberwolves showed up to play, literally, down the stretch in that fourth quarter. And, well, it's things like that, that can help you get in the right direction and start winning some games. This is the game that will make Minnesota Timberwolves fans cringe. It's cringeworthy in a lot of ways. The Rudy Gobert trade, and it generated my Twitter poll that I put up there. And, of course, it's a question that was all over the Twin Cities with other podcasts and other like radio shows like Score North and such, Flagrant Howls, and Score North in general. Mackey and Judd is the show I'm thinking about. So, I mean, obviously. Bleacher Report. Well, who's the first player that comes to mind when you see this logo? The Finals? Well, the original one was Michael Jordan when it just said Finals. Now that it says the Finals, I don't want to think about certain players that have been in the Finals a lot, other than, I guess, LeBron James. Currently, it would definitely be LeBron James because he's been in like 900 Finals. Sorry, that was the distraction, but I had to see it. I had to mention it. Again, Karl Anthony Towns and Jordan McLaughlin out forever with their calf injuries. I probably don't even need to get into that. The Utah game, I'm just delaying the inevitable. Anthony Edwards, nice numbers and everything. Kyle Anderson, a triple-double, again, showing what he can do. Triple-double, 13 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds. He was absolutely great. And the Wolves played well most of this game. But down the stretch, things just kind of fell apart. Kind of in Timberwolves fashion. Instead of having that nice fourth quarter, the Wolves had a crappy one. It was kind of like the anti-Cleveland game where the Wolves, I thought, were the better team most of this game. But then the Utah Jazz kept chipping away, and a certain young man named Walker Kessler, who just might be part of the worst trade in Timberwolves history in terms of he's on the successful side. We'll leave it at that. Maybe. And if it ends up being the worst trade in Timberwolves history, like Walker Kessler ends up becoming a future All-Star, and the Wolves give up 1 million picks, and Rudy Gobert never sees the All-Star game again, and he's just kind of a slow-plodding guy who's good sometimes but not good other times. And again, the 4 draft picks, and, Jared Vanderbilt, a really nice role player. It would be the second time that a Minnesota team went all in, and there was a name, and somebody with the name Walker was involved in the trade. Herschel Walker, Minnesota Vikings, Walker Kessler to the Utah Jazz from the Timberwolves. So it's like the other side of the equation, but the successful side, of course, always going the other direction when it comes to Minnesota sports and deals like this. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I want to say it's too early, but is it though? Is it too early? Is it? And of course, we'll get deeper into that in the fan interaction segment. Or should I even bother getting deeper into it, or like waiting until that? Because if it's me, see, Rudy Gobert, he played in the game and he played 5 minutes. It's like, that's great. And of course, that did help Walker Kessler's cause in this game. But offensive rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds. A huge reason why the Wolves lost the game. Because the Wolves lost by 1 point. 1 frickin' point. 9 offensive rebounds. You don't think that helped the Utah Jazz win the game by 1? You don't think that helped the possibility? Maybe the Wolves might have won this thing by 5, 6, whatever. You don't think so? Walker Kessler, 2020. 2020. Only 2 blocks, which is actually low for him. He's more of a 3 or 4 block a game guy. Walker Kessler is on a rookie contract. In the a late first round rookie contract. Rudy Gobert is making almost $50 million a year. He's 30 years old. Walker Kessler's a rookie. He's 21. Again, so which situation would you prefer? A ton of cap space because you don't have to, so you could let, what's his name? You could let guys like Beasley, you could still trade him away or let him go. And same with the other guy that we got rid of, Patrick Beverly. That's a ton of cap space right there. So you still have a significant amount of cap space. You have an incredibly nice rookie who's got a future. He might not be an all-star, but, if he's going to, somebody is not going to have a game like that if there isn't something there. Some plodding nobody, like Myers Leonard isn't going to do that. Joe Klein isn't going to do that. Stacey King is not going to do that. Luke Longley is not going to do that. It's not going to happen. There's something there with Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler. I know. That's not how he sounds at all. And Rudy Gobert's press conference when he came to Minnesota was awesome. It was an awesome press conference. Very mature, very cool. Just had an aura around him. Really liked him. Really liked Rudy Gobert very much in the press conference. But I like Walker Kessler too. For somebody his age, youngster, to be that mature and that kind of just kind of like a mature, humble but confident. And look what he's doing already. He's not a stud, but look what he's doing. There's a future. There's a future with Walker Kessler Jr. Walker Kessler Jr. technically, but they don't put that in there. But and then Jordan Clarkson for the 9 billionth time beat us again. The last time when he finally beat the Jazz, Clarkson shot like 3 of 15 or something. He didn't shoot well in this game either, but he made the shots he needed to down the stretch. 6 of 16 overall, and 4 of 10 from the other place. Yeah, downtown. I'm just kidding. Colin Sexton, former Cleveland Cavalier, part of that Donovan Mitchell deal. 7 of 10, no threes, but good game for him. Sexton, it's a funny name. Alexander Walker, sorry, that was a guy that was projected to come to the Wolves years ago. Ended up not being all that spectacular, but we'll see. N-A-W, nah. Okay, that's like, nah, I don't want him, right? Mike Conley, there's kind of conversation. Maybe the Wolves should go after him. Nice veteran leader instead of D'Angelo Russell. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's a conversation. It is a conversation that's going to go on forever and ever and ever. All that cap space. You still have Karl Anthony Towns. You still have Anthony Edwards. You just don't have Gobert. Rudy Gobert hasn't even been blocking shots that much for the Wolves. I just think there's more there with Walker. And again, Walker's on the upside. Rudy Gobert, is he on the downside? Maybe, maybe not, but maybe. He is 30. 30's not old, but it's not young. It's not young. It is 30. 30 is that magical age when things just might start slowing down. Hopefully Rudy Gobert lasts many years and he's an all-star every year, but he ain't going to no all-star game this year as far as I'm concerned, and that kind of sucks. He's not Defensive Player of the Year either. Now, what's going on here? Is that Luka Garza nailing threes here? Looks like it, right? Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, Luka Garza, nice game. I like the way. He's obviously a nice player, but this Utah game, again, just kind of set us all in the wrong. It just gave us all the wrong feeling. It really did. Anthony Edwards had some great moments, but overall didn't shoot that great. D'Angelo Russell was adequate, 6 of 11. He made 3 of 6, whatever. Kyle Anderson's triple-double was really cool. It's really nice numbers and everything. But, Luka Garza sucked in the game, too. 1 of 7 overall. He was a mess. Unfortunately, Nathan Knight was better. Could have used a little help. All 3 of those center guys weren't all that great. Looks like they combined for 17 points. That's okay. 12, that's not bad. 12 rebounds, but shot awful. 3 of 8. No, that's 3-pointers. What am I talking about? Whatever. Nathan Knight, 3 of 4. That's okay. Naz Reid, 3 of 8. Ugh. So, I don't know. Bottom line, it didn't give us a good feeling. It really didn't. Jaden McDaniels had his weakest game of the week, I'd have to say. Definitely. Toronto game was much better. This game made you feel awful. It really did. Utah Jazz, yep, it's funny how the retros have been going with those. A lot of the retro jerseys have gone with a lot of the weird rebrands in hockey and basketball, and I kind of commented on that and all that stuff on both Timberwolves Explosion or Brave the Wild and now this show, Timberwolves Explosion. Like the Buffalo Sabres had that weird rebrand in the late 90s, and I didn't like it. I like the classic Buffalo Sabres. They've gone back to that. The Detroit Pistons had the teal look. The Utah Jazz had this mountainy look, which actually it looks good. It's nice, but I like the classic look more. With the note and everything. I like that one. It's just that's the Utah Jazz and the New Orleans Jazz. I like it. I like it a lot. It was really nice artwork, and again, it was the Karl Malone, Stockton, and the NBA Finals versus the Bulls look. The late 90s. in the early 2000s. I really didn't like it when they started wearing black ones. Like, the black thing has been done a million times. Be more unique, have that purple look. They should have went with maybe like a possible, like a forest green look. I think that would have been kind of cool. They should have went with the forest green look with the mountains and all that. That would have been an interesting thing instead of black. Black this, black that. Everybody wants to have black jerseys. You know, if it's not your identity, move off that. Green is more of the Jazz identity than black. Green, purple, maybe that, you know, that bluish color. I like that better. So, anyhow, needless to say, the Wolves trade with Rudy Gobert hurts. It hurts. It hurts, and I don't know. Hopefully we can get through this and head in the right direction. Still, there's still a chance somehow, some way. Maybe we work around it. But it hurts. It hurts, and it doesn't look good right now. It really doesn't. Denver Nuggets, Tim Conley's former club, and the club that drafted, he was. See, it's just the whole Rudy Gobert thing could go on forever and ever and ever, because Tim Conley just started with the Denver Nuggets as their president of basketball, or whatever the heck the role was called. Pretty much, I think, the same thing. Yep. And he drafted Rudy Gobert in the second round, traded him to the Utah Jazz a month later. And then, oh my God, what was I thinking? Blah, blah, blah. Look at Rudy Gobert, what he's become. All these years later, comes to Minnesota, trades for Rudy Gobert, you know, within like a month or two after drafting a nice center named Walker Kessler. A lot of us were not all that excited about him coming in, but it's just ironic. Rudy Gobert might be the guy that makes Tim Conley look real bad, huh? So far he is, because traded away from Denver, traded for, like, overspent for him, bringing him to Minnesota. So it's like, well, the Wolves lost to Denver in a game where the Wolves were playing pretty well for a while, and things just kind of slipped away late. And I don't know, things really slipped away late, honestly. Jamal Murray once again beating us down the stretch. It's a pretty good basketball game. Timberwolves were winning, and then they weren't. Denver wins by 11 in the fourth quarter, 34-23. Wolves lose by 4, ultimately 122-118. And Nikola Jokic is now the all-time leading assist guy in the all-time assist leader anyway for the Denver Nuggets, and still pretty young, isn't he? Triple-double for Nikola Jokic, 31, 13 in assists and 11 rebounds. He had more assists than rebounds. Again, for the Arvydas Sabonis of today, the modern version of Arvydas Sabonis, and a younger, healthier version, you could say, because by the time Arvydas was here, it looked like he had cement shoes out there. Wendell Moore Jr. isn't looking like much of a draft pick, but Walker Kessler is, and of course you trade the wrong one away. Shock of the decade. And of course, I don't think Utah was in a huge rush to get Wendell Moore Jr. versus Walker Kessler. I'm sure they wanted to give Walker Kessler a chance. Luka Garza, 16 points out the bench, and we just saw him hit threes here for the Wolves against the Denver Nuggets on the TV. Naz Reid, there's no Rudy Gobert. Once again, no Rudy Gobert. Shock of the year. Anthony Edwards only 16 points, missed all of his threes. D'Angelo Russell, mediocre, 4 of 8. Just, yeah, but he made half of his threes. He's been shooting threes really well. Luka Garza was pretty awesome. 3 of 5 from downtown and 4 of 9 overall with 16 points off the bench. Jaden McDaniels actually led the Wolves in scoring with 18, and, you know, had that nice solid defense in the three blocks. Naz Reid had 3 blocks, but in 26 minutes, Naz Reid only 3 rebounds. So Naz Reid's a strange guy. You know, he'll get hot sometimes, or he'll have this great game. He'll go coast to coast. He'll go all the way from one side to the other, of course, coast to coast. He's got all kinds of talent, and then all of a sudden he doesn't rebound. It's like, what the heck? 9 of 10 from the free throw line is pretty damn good. We really appreciate what Naz Reid did bring, generally speaking, but got into foul trouble late, and that's why he didn't get to 30 minutes, because he would have, most assuredly. Taurean Prince, another awesome game off the bench. 14 points. We really appreciate that. Noel, only 14 minutes, but still wound up with 9 points. Still a factor. But, again, the Wolves just kind of lost this down the stretch, and Jokic just kind of did his thing out there. I mean, you know, the getting those offensive rebounds, getting rebounds in general, and just kind of, you know, using that big body. And Jamal Murray got clutch late in the game, which often is what is the Wolves' undoing. Jamal Murray did not have a good game last time around. That's one of the reasons the Wolves won. Same with Jordan Clarkson, who often tortures the Wolves. He got clutch late in the game, even though he didn't actually play particularly well in the Utah game either, or, you know, the Wolves-Utah game. But Jamal Murray was good down the stretch and helped the Jazz win the game. Again, 13 assists by Nikola Jokic. We shall move forward if humanly possible. Luckily, this one was the opposite. The Wolves looked like crud most of the way and then just took over. A nice third quarter. The Wolves had a nice third quarter. What do you think of that? In the first half, Toronto was torching us all over the place. They're up by double digits for an extended period, but as the stock chart goes for the Toronto Raptors, it dropped like 1929 for them. And the Wolves end up winning the basketball game, thankfully. 128, 126. Whew. And again, it dropped like 1929 for them. Toronto down the stretch as D'Angelo Russell got hot late in the game. We really appreciate that. No lone wolf for you, though. I'm not giving it up to D'Angelo Russell because he was mediocre all week. And then he had this hot game down the stretch. But we appreciate it. It's a nice win. But you can get all high on yourself and feel great, but that's up to you. Wendell Moore Jr., another 3 minutes and a -6. I don't know even how that's possible. Torian Prince, a -23 for some reason. But Toronto was kicking our ass for an extended period in the first half. 13 for Noel off the bench. Edwards had his moments, did not shoot well, but he got to the free throw line, and that's good. If you're not shooting well, 5 of 16, that sucks. But he got to the free throw line, and he made 11 of 12, and that's good. You know, again, you make your adjustments. He had a lot of turnovers. Just a sloppy game as the Wolves put in a lot of effort versus the Nuggets, and then just got beat. They got beat by, dare I say, a better team in Denver, and then had to fly back to Minneapolis to play a rested Toronto team who was fresh, spry, and ready to rock and roll. But the Wolves down the stretch got the job done. Jaden McDaniels, very nice week generally speaking. And this was a really good game for Jaden McDaniels where he stepped up defensively. Jaden McDaniels was excellent defensively. Anthony Edwards was really good defensively. He did get 3 steals as well. That doesn't mean good defense, the 3 steals, but his defense was good down the stretch and helped the Wolves get this win. A very nice win for the Wolves and kind of a much-needed one because you go from playing fairly well to a 3-game losing streak just like that. I mean, it's devastating. You think you're headed in the right direction, and then you start losing again. The Wolves are still 1 game under 500, 3rd place in the Northwest, and still plenty of time, and not a whole lot of ground between them and the playoff picture and all that. So Wolves still have a shot. Apparently, D'Angelo Russell has had some interest on the Miami Heat, so that's good. What's this guy's name? I'm going to go to this real quick on Yahoo Sports. Jake Fisher. This has been read on other shows, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I can and I should, that kind of thing. Because maybe not everybody listening is, following the Timberwolves as closely. Some of you might not be. The Timberwolves might not be your favorite team. Maybe they're your second favorite team. Kind of like I might listen to a Calgary Flames podcast, second favorite hockey team, that kind of thing. Basically, D'Angelo Russell is quotes. So again, this is kind of skimming around, but getting to the quotes. You either take advantage of me and my ability or F up the opportunity with me. Ooh, it's as simple as that. So just kind of arrogant. I don't know. Where is the other quote? There was another quote that was kind of important. Okay, yep. As part of a response to how he is currently helping push fellow Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards, Russell said, "I'm an alpha as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm an alpha as well. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm better than a lot of shooting guards, and I'm better than a lot of point guards." He certainly has the ability to be better, but the mindset seems to be kind of somewhere else. That's the problem. He's kind of in and out, in and out, in and out. The talent is there, no question, but I think something's missing. I think you're the one, D'Angelo Russell. Can I dare I say this response, D'Angelo? You either take advantage of yourself and your ability, or F up the opportunity the opportunity that you have. It's as simple as that. That's my comeback to D'Angelo Russell. Like, who's really effing up the opportunity here? You know what I mean? Is it okay? What do you think of that response, huh? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Okay? That's the way you want it. That's the way you're going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, again, who's the one effing up the opportunity? But I suppose, what the hell am I saying? He's making $30 million a year to F up his opportunity, I guess. I wish I could get $30 million a year to kind of sort of like tease people, like, yay, look how good I am, look at that. And then the next day, like, sleep at the microscope all day. And then the next day, oh, look how good I am. Oh. And then the next day, just go around the room distracting people and not working. Well, that never happens where I work. But then again, yeah. But what if that was me and I was making $30 million? Luckily that's not me, and I'm still not making $30 million. I try to be a little bit closer to Anthony Edwards or something like that, or Michael Jordan. No, Michael Jordan. Yep. I had to get to that. But the Lone Wolf Award this week, I have to give it to Kyle Anderson. It's about time. It's about time Kyle Anderson got recognized for real. We've been talking nice about him for a while, but I thought he had an absolutely wonderful week, generally speaking. I mean, you just watch him, the IQ goes up. I keep saying that. He's the current version of Sam Mitchell here on the Timberwolves. Loved what Sam Mitchell did. He'd take the right shots. He'd make the right pass. He made other people smarter. I could see Kyle Anderson as at least a really nice assistant coach in the NBA after his career is done. And we'll see what happens. I thought Sam Mitchell would have more success as a head coach, but I don't know. I'm surprised he's not an assistant again at the very least. He was a pretty good one, I thought. So major respect to Kyle Anderson. Maybe he ends up being a great head coach. You never know. Head coach, not just an assistant, or he has zero interest in it whatsoever. But a guy like him seems like a coach. He seems like he's going to be a coach one day. Pat Beverly would probably, within 2 years, he'd be a shelf life guy who would drive his at first to be like, oh wow, injected with energy, and we're going to kick everybody's ass, and then the next year or two, man, what's up with this guy? Get out of here! Get him out of here! I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna dump the Gatorade on his head in the middle of the game because I'm sick of him. That kind of thing. Yeah. Anyhow, the Johnny Flynn Memorial, is there one? It's Wendell Moore Jr. because he sucks. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Is there really an individual player? And because D'Angelo Russell had his moments and he was a hero in the later moments. I don't really want to rip on Naz Reid. I love what he's brought. He's certainly not perfect. Guys like Matt Ryan, Wendell Moore, how could you, what's the point of picking on them? Just kind of in general, I'm going to give it to Tim Conley for, I don't know, this Rudy Gobert trade. I know it's not a finished product yet. Maybe Utah screws up all the draft picks, but yeah, right. They're not going to screw them up. They're probably not going to get a great player at every position. Even if you are a great GM, you're going to you're going to make mistakes, and B, the right guy just isn't there sometimes. Sometimes he's just not there. You could be the best GM in the world, and all you have to pick from is Myers Leonard or Wendell Moore Jr. Sorry, Wendell, but so far, I don't know, man. that might be your only choices you have at number 20 in the draft, or even number 15 on occasion. It's just dry. It's just all dried up. What are you going to do? It's not always the GM's fault. Just sometimes the right guy isn't there. But there's usually somebody good, though. You just don't find them until it's too late. It's some miracle pick. So with that said, yeah, I'm a fool, aren't I? I'm the Johnny Flynn Memorial for that statement. Anyhow, we'll take a quick break and we get to preview 3 games, and one are with the same two teams. So there you go. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion. And as I made a moron of myself at the end of the first segment, I was trying to say the Minnesota Timberwolves have 3 games coming up, okay? And 2 of them are against the same team. That would be the Houston Rockets. I almost said Utah. Can you imagine? I don't know what's going on with me right now. I mean, I don't get enough sleep or something. But Saturday, the Timberwolves will host the Houston Rockets. Monday, the Timberwolves will visit the Houston Rockets. So same team, 2 nights. 2 out of 3 nights, so to speak. And then the New Orleans Pelicans, oh goody, on the 25th, Wednesday. So we'll see how that turns out. I don't know. We shall see. The Houston Sprockets. But before we do that, let's get to DraftKings. I almost left that out. Now it would have been really stupid and not good. The NFL playoff action continues. We're 1 step closer to Super Bowl 57. And for the NFL division round, check out DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers, that means everybody, folks, everybody, just like those AT&T type of things. Yep, everybody, that's right, can take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Boost your NFL winnings with each leg and add up to 100%. And obviously, up and coming, you have an exciting game that might be almost impossible to bet, but you could have a lot of fun with it as well, is the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. Insanely looking forward to that one. I'm hoping and praying the winner of that game goes to the Super Bowl. I want nothing to do with the Kansas City Chiefs. They might be an easy pick. They might not. Jacksonville's obviously dangerous. San Francisco over Dallas, I got to think so. San Francisco's got to beat Dallas, right? That might be the easier bet. It might be. Eagles and Giants, there's no way that's an easy bet. So I think the easiest pick, generally speaking, is the 49ers over the Cowboys. That's just my choice, but it's up to you. Cincinnati and Buffalo, that could go either way. Cincinnati did beat Buffalo earlier this season, blah, blah, blah. Eagles and Giants, they're division rivals. You might think, Joey, the Giants are 6th seed. They're nothing. But they're division rivals, though. And Jacksonville's been a funny team in the second half of the season. Who knows? Maybe they'll pull off a freaking awesome upset, and I'd love it. Because just anything to get the Chiefs out of there, I'd be very happy. Because I don't like the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't. So that's just the way I see it. Check out Purple Mafia if you want to hear football conversation there, too. But I don't know why I'm getting into that. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TBPN. New customers can bet just $5 on the NFL division round and get 200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TBPN. That's the Basketball Podcast Network. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Do enjoy. See show notes for details, as Rudy Gobert might say. Rudy is going to be traded to the Portland Trail Blazers by the end of the season because we need to get draft picks returned. I don't know. Yeah, good luck, right? Man, he's only averaging 13 points, isn't he? But then again, I mean, he's not an offensive juggernaut anyway. 1.3 blocks, though. 1.3 blocks. I'm sorry, but I got to tell it like it is. I'm not employed by the Wolves, and even if I was, I'd be annoyed right now. Jalen Green's leading the club in scoring regarding the Houston Sprockets. What's their record? Not good. The Wolves the Wolves messed around with them last time and almost lost. That was pretty stupid. Hopefully the Wolves don't do that again here. 10-35 on the season, 15th in the Western Conference. They are the leastern team in the Western Conference. 27th in points. Let's get to the comparisons here. My apologies. The Wolves, okay, and Kevin Porter Jr.'s got a foot injury, blah, blah, blah. Rudy Gobert with a groin, that's great. McLaughlin and Towns with the calf. We've talked about that 1,000 times already. Points per game. Wolves are 10th. Sprockets are 27th. Rebounds, the Wolves are 27th. Yeah, see what I'm saying, though? Can I say it again? And I know Anthony Towns has been out, but I can't emphasize enough. Seriously, I just can't. 27th in rebounds. 27th. It's just that says it all right there when it comes to the Wolves and Rudy Gobert and all that good stuff. Seriously. 27th in rebounds. Rockets are 4th. 4th in the league. Field goal percentage, Wolves are 3rd. Rockets are 30th. 3-point percentage, 19th for Minnesota, 29th for the Rockets. Assists per game, the Rockets are dead last, 30th in the NBA. Wolves are 11th. Turnovers, Wolves 27th, meaning like a higher number of them, but Rockets are even worse at 29th. Assist to turnover ratio, 23rd for Minnesota, 30th for the Rockets. The Wolves do block shots, but it's not because of Gobert as much as guys like McDaniels and Anthony Edwards, man. 4th in the NBA. The Rockets are 17th. Steals, the Wolves are 4th. That's Anthony Edwards again. And the Rockets are 11th. So not too bad there. The Wolves do lead the series 2-0, not 3. The Wolves with an opportunity to sweep the Houston Rockets with a sweep here. Hopefully they get the job done. The Wolves won 129-117 on November the 5th, and then 104-96. They kind of screwed around with them. We were actually losing that game for a while, just, about 2 weeks ago on Sunday, January the 8th. So Saturday and Monday, 21st, 23rd. We're already 3 weeks into January. Isn't that weird? Rockets have lost all of their last 5. They stink right now, and the Wolves need to take advantage. I mean, why the heck not? What happens in these upcoming games? Why do I have a crappy feeling we're going to freaking split? I sure hope not. Let's look at some of the players really quick. Again, Porter Jr. has apparently got a foot injury. We'll see. Sengun was a pain in the butt last time around. He's doing all right for the. He's the big man, and he didn't make Rudy Gobert look too good either. Unfortunately, Jalen Green's leading the club in scoring with 22 points a game, 33% from downtown, and 41 from the floor. That's not that good. That's not that great. Ty Washington Jr. Love that name. Who am I thinking about? There's somebody that's on my mind. Jabari Smith. There we go. He's the rookie, obviously the star rookie who came into the draft and all that. Kenyon Martin Jr. had some highlight plays against the Wolves last time around. Jabari Smith obviously is a major factor. Has some great moments, but still kind of raw, still getting going. But when he's on his game, he's pretty good. Field goal percentage sucks, though, 39% and then 31 from downtown. So obviously he's got a ways to go with that. But welcome to rookies in the NBA. The Rockets, again, like I said, have lost their last 5. They lost to Sacramento twice and in terrible fashion. 135, 115, 139, 114, demolition. Yuck. Clippers, they lose to them by 21. They lose to the Lakers 140, 132. They lose to the Charlotte Hornets most recently 122, 117, and then play the Wolves twice. The Wolves will sweep this season series. The Wolves will get 3 wins in a row after beating the Raptors. The Wolves will sweep the season series. At the end of the day, Timberwolves win in Houston. That's the first game. No, this was the Target Center. The Wolves win the Target Center game. Anthony Edwards with 31. Timberwolves win. Final score of 125 to 125 to 108. And then, it should be a significant win. And then we go to Houston. I got a feeling we might mess around a little bit there. Something like 118 to 114, something stupid. 118, 112, something like that. Anthony Edwards with 25. Lead the Wolves in scoring, but won't be as great in that one. But he will have 25 in that game. He won't have as good of a shooting night. But 31 versus the Rockets on Saturday. Other than that, though, we get to play the New Orleans Pelicans. Oh, goody. Watch out. New Orleans Pelicans, obviously a completely different team now. Zion Williamson's averaging 26 points a game. He's the phenom of that draft years ago. Najee Marshall, toe injury as of Jan 19th. Herbert Jones, Jan 10th. Zion Williamson, apparently a hamstring issue at the beginning of the month. Oh, boy. Let's stay away from those type of things. New Orleans beat the Wolves by only 1 point on December the 28th. Actually, kind of an impressive showing by the Wolves, but we didn't finish the job. We play them on Wednesday the 25th of January, and then don't play again until Sunday, April the 9th, when the landscape will probably look a heck of a lot different out there. As I'm doing Timberwolves Explosion that time of year, it'll probably be brown with a little bit of green poking up here and there. But we'll see. Maybe it will be very white like it is right now. New Orleans Pelicans have not been playing well, but that's probably because of injuries again. But every team in the league has injuries, right? January the 9th, the Pelicans beat the Washington Wizards by 20 on the road, 132-112. Lost to Boston. They did not beat Boston. Not many teams are doing that right now. 125-114 loss in Boston. 116-110 win versus Detroit, so they're better than us just for that alone. Lost at Cleveland, 113-103. That's matchups for you, because the Wolves are better than New Orleans in that category. And then, the loss to the Heat, 124-98, most recently. Yuck. That's a bad game. And that was in New Orleans, too. New Orleans is the 4th seed in the Western Conference. Denver is number 1 with 32-13. Memphis number 2, 31-13. Sacramento Kings are number 3 in the Western Conference. It's kind of cool. Frickin' Warriors are still lingering, though, and they're now 7th. The Wolves are actually the 8th seed right now, aren't we? So games, and the Oklahoma City Thunder? Wow, because remember how bad they were? And they got all those. Yeah, see, that's the other one when I believe Jeff Johnson, locally from Edina, in case he's listening. What an awesome guy. He really is, actually. Just in case you know him. He's been out there in Facebook pages forever. And obviously, he's a Twitter and all that. Gigantic Wolves fan. But I believe he's a season ticket holder, and again from Edina. He did mention out there, he posted on his regular Facebook page about how or maybe it wasn't a group, I don't remember. I think it was his page. Oh, yes, the Rudy Gobert trade doesn't look good. But just imagine being the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers, they gave up basically 100 draft picks for Paul George, right? Where are the Clippers and where are the Oklahoma City Thunder? The Thunder are the 9th seed in the West. The Clippers are the 10th. I mean, what more do you need to say? Because, yeah, it's got to suck. Paul George has been good. It's not his fault. There was Ryan Saunders. Yeah, that's Ryan Saunders at the Denver Nuggets, right? He's on the Denver Nuggets. Yep, that's him. Cool. Ryan Saunders, nice to see you. 1 in 100 million chance he's listening, but yeah, no, just in case. That was kind of cool. That's the first time I've actually seen him publicly. Yeah, that's Ryan. There he is. Cool, and I'm glad, I'm glad, and it's a damn good team right now. But yeah, I mean it's interesting. Again, New Orleans, they're 7 games above 500. They were way up there, like 2 and 3 in the conference. Now they're dropping down. Utah is, God, yeah, the West is weird this year. There's 2 teams that are way above everybody else right now, and that's Denver and Memphis. Eastern Conference, that's Boston, Milwaukee, and then Philadelphia's creeping up, and Brooklyn's made a huge comeback after an awful start to the season after they fired Steve Nash. They've torn it up since then. They've been pretty good. So, but Boston, I think, is the best team in the NBA, and they will win the NBA championship this year over the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings in the NBA Finals. Wouldn't that be something? As much as I love Boston, I mean, that'd be kind of cool to see Sacramento win an NBA championship just for the sake of, like, the Sacramento Kings won the NBA title. Wow. Memphis, I'll pass. I don't know. They kind of pissed me off last year, but at least we got one of their better players, Kyle Anderson. So let's talk about the Pelicans. I am really sorry. I'm babbling nonstop. Sixth in points are the Pelicans. 6th in rebounds. Jeez. 8th in field goal percentage. 11th in 3-point percentage. 9th in assists. 22nd in turnovers. 13th in assists to turnover ratio. 21st in block shots. Yeah, Zion's not exactly that kind of guy, but steals, they're 2nd in the league. Segunda. Pretty good. Segunda. Zion Williamson, 26 points. But will he play? CJ McCollum, Timberwolves killer forever and ever and ever, because we treated him like crap going into that draft. We just kind of passed on him twice, like, we don't want you, go away. And he's torched us ever since with the Blazers and now with the New Orleans Pelicans. CJ McCollum. He's another one of those guys, even if he's not playing well. He's another shooting guard who's murdered the Wolves forever, like Jordan Clarkson and Jamal Murray. And Clarkson, I don't know if we passed on him in the draft, like probably. Murray, yeah, we did. We passed on Jamal Murray for Chris Dunn, right? Remember how much I was going crazy about Jamal Murray in that draft? I was on Jamal Murray, so I was right about something. Once in a while, I am right. Not all the time. Once in a while. McCollum, I was dead wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I forget who I even liked that year, but I was wrong about him. I was like, I don't know. And yeah, that was dumb. That's on me, so I apologize. New Orleans, I think they win the game, but maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, it depends on who's healthy, I guess. I'm curious now. See, hamstrings are not good. And yeah, Zion Williamson has not been playing, has he? So they're definitely beatable. McCollum's healthy, which that might be enough. And then Valanciunas is a pain in the ass. He's been a pain in the ass for the Wolves historically. I don't know if Zion's going to play. Those hamstrings and such. Yeah, the NBA hamstring really is not a good thing. And he's a big dude, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That was why New Orleans was so damn good, was because Zion Williamson is finally healthy. And not only is he healthy, but he's kicking butt. Like, a couple of years ago, he had 27 a game, and then he missed the whole dang season last year. And then this year, 26 a game. Awesome. But now he's missing time with a freaking hamstring. He hasn't played since Jan the 2nd. So, yeah, that's the exact day. Oh, boy. Yeah, because they were so good back then. They did have a 4-game losing streak in the middle of December, though. So they were kind of stuck in. They weren't that good in December either, really. They were starting to kind of, reality's kind of setting in. Maybe you guys aren't as good as you think you are. Could the Wolves actually sweep this week? There's a chance. I mean, Zion Williamson made us look like fools last time around, didn't he? Didn't he have like a coast-to-coast play, like a steal, and just took off and all that? And we were complaining, saying, well, he's playing football, we're playing basketball. Like, he's kind of bullying his way through us, barreling his way through. But the Wolves only lost by 1 in that game. It's just the fact we lost, 1 or 21. Still sucks to lose. He had 43 points in that game. McCollum 20, but I remember him hitting some big ones. Like it just make you want to smash something. You have 3 of 6 from downtown, and you know they were at most inopportune times. And Valanciunas is a pain in the butt as well. Wolves win. Wolves win. Wolves are going to be above 500 at the end of this week. The Wolves will win. Gun to my head. Wolves win the game. Final score, something along the likes of... I got a feeling Jaden McDaniels is going to get 20-something. He's not going to lead the Wolves in scoring, but he's going to be one of the main reasons we win this game. I got a feeling D'Angelo Russell is going to get hot, 25. And Anthony Edwards is going to get around 30. He's pretty much a 30-point guy right now, Anthony Edwards. With Carl out of the lineup, he's a 30-point guy. It's going to be kind of a team average, but those are going to be the 3 main guys out there. Rudy Gobert, I don't know what's going to happen if he's even going to play. Because groin injuries, that's the other annoying one, like a hamstring. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. This guy's out, that guy. I'm sick of Gobert and his injuries. He's injured, he's sick, he's injured, he's injured, he's sick, he's injured. Walker Kessler, 20 points and 4 assists and 4 blocks and 17 rebounds. And Rudy Gobert's out. Oh, Rudy Gobert played, but he went out early. He played, but he's out early in that one. He played, he only attempted 4 shots and got 8 rebounds and no blocks. But he had 12 points. That's great, 12 points. Woo, 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 woo. That's $50 million right there, baby. $50 million, let me tell you. Just like every other sport, it's nice to have guys on rookie contracts versus overpaid, just overpaid 30-year-old, 30-plus-year-olds. It's just the way it is, And, at 43, I don't like to be called old, but it is what it is, So, it is what it is. But the Wolves will sweep this week. I'm going to pick it. I'm going to step out in faith. 5 wins in a row for the Timberwolves. I'll probably be dead wrong, but if I'm right, I'm going to be gloating next week. Not really. Maybe in my playful way. But the Wolves will sweep this week. With that, we'll take a quick break and get to fan interaction as soon as possible. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion fan interaction segment. We'll see how this goes. Shouldn't be too bad. Obviously some fun interaction. Want to thank Tanae Brown and Levi Brown for retweeting the most recent show coming in out of New Zealand. The Basketball Podcast Network coming out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Of course, that's Canada, but and Vinrock Vince Germano coming in out of Victoria, Australia. That's right. Victoria, Australia, which is also known as Melbourne, Australia. Victoria is the province. That Victoria is like, British Columbia, if you know what I mean. So I love you, Vince Germano. Again, a Courtside Podcast. It's going to come back one of these days, but you know how hiatuses are. Every time you're going to come back, you're like, maybe next week. Maybe next week. And it's just like, I remember me and Marcus were like that one time. Or, no, that was just Marcus. If it's up to me, I try to at least be weekly. I try. But during the regular or postseason or whatever, off-season, it's not as easy. Tanae Brown was saying there's just no need to make the Gobert trade, even without the hindsight of how good Kessler is. Exactly. We have a great starting center already, and Reed is a pretty good backup. I will never understand the trade, and I feel you 100%. It hurts. I was saying I remember just like hyperventilating, thinking, oh no, what are we doing? And then I felt better considering it's a big name, but these type of things never work out. It just feels like they never do. You could go on, you can make example after example after example. A very recent one, again, Paul George with the Clippers. Paul George is a good player, but you don't want to do that and then pay a guy $9 billion and give up like 300 draft picks. It's stupid. It's stupid. I'm sorry. It's stupid. If you're going to make a trade, make a smart trade. Don't go crazy. And if Utah demanded and expected all that, tell them go to hell. Tell them go to hell and drop dead, quite frankly. Yeah, thank you, Michael Savage. Yes, I agree. That's what I would tell them. If that's what they expected, that's what I'd tell them. And then Tanay continues saying, younger, better contract, does his job, doesn't complain about his role, chance to develop. I don't understand how anybody says no here. And that was, yeah, about the whole thing. I was saying I still wish that Tim Connelly never made that stupid trade. Just having Walker Kessler already being as good as he is at half the age of Rudy Gobert, that's all you need to know. Oh, yeah, 4 draft picks and keeping Jared Vanderbilt at the very least. Hashtag Timberwolves. And there was the poll. Yep. Did somebody unfollowed? What the heck? You clown. Anyhow, maybe it wasn't a real profile, though. Who knows? I was saying, would you trade Rudy Gobert straight up for Walker Kessler? Amazingly, this ended up being extremely close after a good number of votes. 52.8% to 47.2%. But Walker Kessler does win the election to be the Timberwolves center of the future if everything could be reversed. Because, again, the cap space is a big thing. And, again, you'd still have guys on the roster that are expensive, but you can let them go via free agency. Or maybe a trade still. Maybe you still trade Malik Beasley away. And, of course, Patrick Beverley, whatever. You know, I mean, what did he have? 1 year left? So, yeah, drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely nuts. Thank you very much for listening to this show. Hope it was fun. Hope I'm not too obnoxious, too negative. And anybody that thinks I'm negative, I just picked the Timberwolves to sweep this next week. So that's not that negative. I picked the Wolves to go on a 5-game winning streak. So obviously there's something there. There's obviously something there with the Wolves. The Wolves, you could call it kind of like neon green jerseys. They're okay. That's kind of what they're wearing now. I guess they're the replacements for. I don't think we wear the lime green anymore. These must be the replacements because like, there's lime green, but it's like a gray with lime green now, kind of a grayish blue. And yeah, those are okay. That's like our quote unquote third jersey, and then the fourth jersey is the city one. Last year's city jerseys were just awesome. The best city jerseys I've ever seen. Where see the Wolves did their rebrand at the in 96, 97, right? When 96, 97 when we traded for Stephon Marbury and all that. That's when the Wolves did their rebrand, and Garnett was going into his second year. That was a great rebrand, even though I love the original Wolves logo and uniforms. But a great rebrand. A lot of teams did some crappy ones around that time, like Detroit and such. The Detroit one was a little earlier. The Pistons back with that, just kind of that classic royal blue and red. Much better. Just leave it alone. I love it. Utah back with a note. Love it. Golden State with that weird look. It was okay for a minute or two, but then you go back to kind of that, Golden Gate Bridge look. It's good. I hate the current Warriors, but the general history of the Warriors, not bad. Obviously cool. Chris Mullin, all those guys, and going way back into the Rick Barry days. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool franchise. But the Curry era, yeah, I mean, it's the glory years, technically, of that franchise, no question. But it's an unlikable bunch of jerks, in my opinion. But you can disagree all you want, and that's fine. We're all different. Some people might think the Wolves are unlikable, and some of them are, actually, but not maybe just Russell. With that said, please tell your friends about the show. Download your DraftKings Sportsbook app, yes, sir, and start betting on those NFL games and 950 NBA games. Yep, well, why not? Why not bet on the Wolves versus the Rockets and the Pelicans and stuff? Why not? Have some fun with it and come ahead, That's a good feeling. Call into the show if you could as well. What do I call it? An audio submission. Basically, open up your smart device. Any free voice recording app on the planet, just open it up, press record, treat it like a phone call. Then when you stop, you save it and send it to paladinolive@yahoo.com. paladinolive@yahoo.com. Yep, and then I would then convert it into an MP3 file, thanks to zumzar.com. Great place to convert your files if you need to. And there you go. It's a lot of fun, no doubt about it. With that said, have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next time.